I feel like, remember those paintings on our wall in the 90s? This was what they looked like. The faces were all whited out and you just saw the eyes and the lips. That's what this is about. Sorry for the horrible lighting. Do you feel that you are coachable? Now, before you answer, please don't answer in a way that is that you want to learn. That you're like on these periscopes trying to learn as much as you can. The thing is are you coachable from someone else? Just to really give you some perspective on this. Really, when you are working in the consultant industry, it's a real challenge to work with so many different personalities. So when I was really responsible to train and coach people, so I was doing this in the medical industry. I used to work in X-ray as an X-ray tech, and I used to do mammograms and OR work and trauma ER and barium enemas. Yes, I've done it all. I lived the glorious life. But I couldn't stand working in the hospital and thankfully finally got out into the business side. And that's where I then went and worked in applications, teaching people how to do digital X-ray equipment that I represented for the company. And I would travel the world to teach people how to do this. So this was one of the hardest techniques because I'm working with, first of all, people that don't know me, and it forced me to be able to mesh and mold into working with different personality types. And one of the conflicts, of course, when I was working in the X-ray world is when I would come into someone's home, their hospital, their department. Here's this girl bringing in some brand new technology and equipment and telling people, forget everything you've done. Your processes are old. Learn my stuff. A lot of them were very resistant. I know because I used to work in the hospital and I had a lot of older people that would work in the hospital as well, and they didn't want to jump on the new digital bandwagon of X-ray. They liked their old school film processing. And so when I would travel mostly the United States, but I'd have to go international as well, you would really come into a lot of different personality types, especially me being a 20-something blonde girl coming in, just being all chipper, man, let's learn a new equipment. They didn't really want to learn so much from me a lot of the times, and I had to handle very strong personalities, a lot of doctors. I had to manage a lot of doctor personalities, and I worked with a lot of doctors when I used to be in the hospital, and some of them just aren't so nice, and some of them are always right, and that was a real challenge. So when I would go in all these installations, I basically was telling people to change their processes 100%. That's a hard obstacle. So you're dealing with a lot of people being frustrated, not knowing new technology, not knowing how to efficiently do something that they've been doing so efficiently already. So I would come into great personalities who were open to change, and then you'd come into those stick in the muds that just were not gonna change. They felt it was a fad. So I worked in that degree as well. And I'm thankful, as much as that was a miserable time in my life and that I hated traveling so much and doing that, that was really a painful part of my life. It trained and molded me so much, especially doing those trade shows and all. But then working for Chalene Johnson's company and having to manage all these new entrepreneurs who were coming in. They wanted to start their path as an entrepreneur. They wanted to be successful. They wanted to make money. They wanted to be famous. How do you update Periscope? Go to the app store and just hit the update. So I know for myself, I joined on Shalene's scope this morning, and she said that as well. And when I went out and I hit the update and came back into Periscope, it was totally fine. So if you want to make sure, just go to your app store and you can update it. And then again, you can now turn me sideways as well. That's why I'm kind of over here to the side, because I want the comments to stay over on the other side for you guys. So totally. Thanks so much for jumping out and coming back in there too. So when I started working now in this world, the health and fitness world, I came from a very hardened place. So in that point in my life when I was traveling around all the time, and it was from 1998 until 2004 is when I would travel around, I became very hardened. I didn't do well with a lot of excuses. I just didn't want to socialize much with people. I just wanted to get the job done and get back to my hotel room. I just wanted to get out of that state and get back to my house. I was in that swirl of negativity, and I was in a bad relationship of cheating. He was a cheater and I didn't know it. I was protecting him. I was in a very negative space. So when I was working and starting into a profession where it's predominantly women and happy women and over the top jolly women, I was kind of annoyed by it, and I didn't want to socialize really much with them. I actually declined rooming with some of them at the camp because I just didn't want to have to talk to someone. I really didn't want to. And it's amazing. This was way back in 2000. But that wasn't me. That was what my career turned me into being. Because I wasn't that girl growing up in high school. I became that because I turned my life into something that was negative that I didn't love. And I was stuck. I felt stuck. So I really had to train and grow myself out of that. But in 2004, when I started working as a full-time employee there, I was responsible for their success and dealing with so many different personality types. And we did talk about personality types on a previous scope that I had done, and handling people who, say it bluntly, they are the best in their pond, right? Because that's what it is. They're the best in their pond, and they come to this bigger pond, and they come in all like I am the bomb. First of all, we would try not to choose those people because those are the type of people that just would not fit and work out. But then you would still have those types of people that you would have to work with, and you had to delicately manage them. And it's a matter of figuring out their different types of personality so that you could make them feel successful, help them become successful, but also help them to want to grow to be a better person. It's impossible for you to be an amazing leader if you aren't coachable. I always use the phrase, don't stick a fork in me. I'm not done. I'm never done. So you can't stick a fork in me. Don't test me out. I am not done. The brownies aren't done. The meat is not done. I'm always going to be getting better. And so what you can focus on, some of the skills to figure out if you're coachable, and I'll give you some ideas of how you can understand if you're not. So that's the challenge, is when you are trying to groom people and really understand their personality types and have them to be a success. Dealing with those different personality types, especially when they're so great in their own right, is really hard. So I struggle and still have this happening all the time. So obviously working in network marketing, you get so many different variant personality types coming in to work with you. You have a lot of people who are very meek. Then you'll have a lot of people who are very strong and bold. And you may have people who've been uber successful in their own businesses or other network marketing businesses. So some of the challenges, and I again still continue to have them, and I struggle personally myself. I'm struggling with this because I continue to run into this, and I don't want to respond too quick because I don't want to hurt a relationship or obviously the business relationship either. So I will not respond right away when there is someone who's coming up with a hard head. And sometimes you just can't explain things well enough, and typing it out may not be a good solution. So what I'm doing in situations where you do come up with conflict is just back off, let time pass, because a lot of the times when time passes, a lot of the times the hard-headed person comes to their senses and then they come forward. So that's something else to consider. But how do you handle that? Here are some of the typical qualities of someone that may not be so coachable. You'll notice that sometimes they'll pretend that they're listening. So in any situation, be it your employer, manager, or your personal coach, or a mentor, consultant you hired, some of the mentality is just pretending to listen, nodding, taking in. How do you tell someone coaching isn't for them? I would never tell someone that, because I think that there's, like they say, there's a lid for every pot. So I think it's just a matter of they will learn along their way. Not everyone's going to be amazingly successful. Not everyone can be a leader. Some people will call themselves leader, but they aren't. And certain standards, should I say, every standards are different. So you can't tell someone you shouldn't do this. You know, I personally don't think that's our decision to tell someone. But you can, of course, always work to make them better. And by the way, I'm still in my karate stuff, too. I had karate. For those of you who are following me, I got my second test for my black belt tomorrow night. So the thing is, when you are trying to work with someone and you're giving them constructive criticism and they are listening, they're taking it in, and you can really gauge from their mannerisms that they're not really believing it, they're not really absorbing it as welcomed information, and they are probably having negative thoughts in their mind as well. So that's one typical quality, is that you may be listening, but you've got a different dialogue going on in your mind. So that's one reason why someone may not be coachable, and these are characteristics of someone who's not coachable. Another big characteristic of someone who's not coachable is that they don't execute. So for instance, they could have had a meeting with their consultant or their coach, and their coach is telling them great information of how they can improve, how they can get better results, or this is the reason why we do our processes like this. And then they take it in, but then they don't execute. So it's not a matter of not executing for laziness. That could be one reason for sure. But usually someone who's resistant to being coached will take in information, but they don't believe it. They second guess the person. They don't trust them. They still feel their way is the right way. And they don't implement or execute the new information because, again, they don't believe in it. And they, again, feel what they're doing is right. So thank you so much for letting them know about updating the Periscope. Totally. Yeah, this is probably going to be a lower attended one for that reason, because people don't know yet about the update. So to give you an example, while I'm on this thought right here. So for instance, I've been building this business for years, and I've been working in the fitness industry for 24 years. Being a fitness professional, so obviously I'm a fitness instructor, I'm a personal trainer, but I don't do personal training because that's a waste of my time. And I just get frustrated with people who work with me for 1 hour and then the next week comes back and they didn't do anything. It just annoys me. I can't stand that. So I said personal training is not for me, and it's a waste of my time, as I said. So I've been a fitness professional for so long, and I am the trainer of the trainers in the fitness world. I've worked with some of the greats out there in the fitness industry. So I've really come to know exactly what human nature will respond to when it comes to fitness in all areas. Losing weight, moving their career. I know human nature and the mannerisms of what people will do. So for instance, I've got these systems that I create. Of course, for those of you who are following me, I'm a person that will make systems out of all the activity in your business so that it's super simple for you to have success, because all you got to do is follow the system. I'm a person that will follow the way it's written first, then tweak it. And that's my best advice to you. Always follow a system that has been created and then tweak it to make it work for you after you've completed it. I do that for everything. And I did that for when I had both of my C-sections. The doctor said, don't work out for 8 weeks. Okay, I am not working out for 8 weeks because I didn't want to risk injury again. And the same thing with nursing my kids. It says in the books, nurse them for a year. Okay, I'll nurse them for a year. I just like to do what is proven to be the system. And then you can always tweak. So I've got systems in place for business activity. And in parts of the system, I have to hold really strong to someone not moving forward to the next step. Because if they don't complete the first step to get an expected result, what's the point of going forward? You're basically just finishing homework. And that's not the goal. So for instance, in the fitness industry, I know what people will do. People want things for free. And if you give it to them all up front, they're going to say goodbye. Oh, no, hi. Not to you as you just came in. They're going to say goodbye. But this is the thing. So for instance, a lot of people always want what you're going to give. And there's a little technique that you just reserve it, and that's going to make them stick it out longer. So for instance, it's like a meal plan. This is one of the things I'll do is I invite people to do a challenge with me to lose weight for a week. And all they got to do is report in every day. And if they check in every day saying that they completed their workout, they ate clean, then they get to stay in the group. And if they get to stay in the group, they then get to see the next day's meals. So I don't give them the meal plan up front. I give them a grocery list for them to go shop for the whole week. But I hold back that meal plan because human nature is they got what they wanted. If this was a free group, and I just gave them the meal plan that I said I was going to promise to them that was going to magically shed 5 to 8 pounds in 1 week, they'll get it and then they're gone. So I just now lost the opportunity to work with someone. So the thing is you reserve what they want. And again, that's just human nature. And I just know that. So the process with my systems, I'm not being an ass. I promise I'm not being an ass. I just want people to be as super successful as possible. And so if I've got a step where there's certain activity that someone has to do, and if it's not being followed to a T, and there's a lot of sloppiness to it or lack of detail, attention, and it feels like you're just trying to get through the steps so you can get on to the next step, you're not going to have success. It's going to be a crumbled foundation. The goal is not only for you to have success. The goal is for you and other people that are working with you to have success. So great for you. You may be the best salesperson, the best communicator, the best trainer in the world, and you don't need a system because you're amazing. You can make business happen like that. That's you. What about the other people that are working with you? They'll struggle. Some people need to grab onto something and to build a level of success. So you may have had insane success, credibility, trophies, and money, and you can tell someone, hey, follow me, and they do. But not everybody can do that when they're an entrepreneur. They need to build the credibility, especially when it's something new, and they don't have credibility yet in that world. So that's why following a system to get an expected result needs to be completed as is. And when you've done it all, then go tweak it. Make it your own. Do something completely different. So that's a big struggle that I personally have, is when people who are hard to coach is they don't believe you. They think you're just trying to make it difficult. And some managers will, and they're not leaders, first of all. I know that. I know that there's a lot of people out there that just want to make someone's life difficult. But there's a reason, there's a process, and if you're trying to effectively communicate it with someone, to tell them, trust me, believe in my success is what I want you to have as well. I'm trying to make you a better person to have success in here. Just trust me for a moment. Just do it like this for a second and see what happens. So that's typical of people who are not coachable. Another characteristic is that they get defensive. So they'll get very defensive. You'll bring up a situation that they may have done, and they will just litter out a lot of defense. No, I'm not like that. I am totally coachable. I listen all the time to every training, and I am always studying. I constantly want to get better. I am the most coachable person out there. I can't believe you would say that. That's typical. You can be very defensive, putting up walls, be combative. Thanks so much for sharing that on Twitter, Esbuen. Okay, so that's another one. The other part is that they are full of excuses. So the defensiveness and the exclusive will come together sometimes. So when you say, well, you didn't do it like this way would have been better, they'll come up with a defensive response and many times excuses. Well, I totally did exactly what you said. I don't know why you're making this so difficult, but I followed exactly what you said to do to a T, and I can't control that your website went down. I can't control that you've got typos all in your material. It's honestly your system. This system is not set up appropriately for me to have success. Blame, excuse. You're not coachable. All right? Another characteristic of someone who's not coachable is that they're really genuinely concerned about themselves and how they come across and how much success that they have, that they're not really concerned about stepping on other people or doing business activity that may not be the best business activity, a little shady. So that person is concerned with their own self, how they're being seen in light, and they will do some underhanded things. They will throw people under the rug, and that person really is trying to escalate themselves as someone to follow. But that's not a good person to follow, and it usually always comes out. I've usually, I can't say always because I don't think you can always say always, seen it come out with people, that the true self does come out. And it's because they're just concerned with themselves and how they look, and that they achieve the award, that they get the money, that they get the recognition. No, I did that. I was the one that made that website. I did it. Not them. No, I did that. So that person's not coachable. See, a coachable person, if they were leading the charge on putting together a website, And they had a couple of people helping them, but for the most part, they were leading the charge. Like they did 80% of the work. When someone comes to them and says, wow, the website is amazing. You did a great job. A non-coachable person would say, thank you so much. I worked so hard on it. I was really up a lot at night doing this because I just wanted it to be the best for you. That person's not coachable, because the best response from someone who's coachable, who's humble, who understands the bigger picture, and who in my eyes is a leader, when someone would come to them and say, that website is amazing, you did an amazing job, that person would deflect it and say, oh no, I didn't do this all myself. I had also Bob and Joe and Jim helping me on this. We really wanted to make sure that this was a team effort and that it really showcased the company really well. So no matter that you may have done the bulk or maybe even all of it, you don't take the credit. A non-coachable person doesn't take all the credit. It's the success of the company is the success of the team. So when you're a person who's just trying to always be seen as that person that's amazing so that you can get a leg up, that is not a leadership position. You're not coachable. So how can you be more coachable? Because you know what? It's sometimes really challenging to recognize, oh wow, I have some of those characteristics. I have. And you know what? I think you're always working to always make the right decision. I know, and prior to really working on myself in my early 20s and really focusing on personal growth and development and leadership skills and understanding what it really takes to help other people be a success, I had some of those selfish qualities. And it doesn't change immediately. You have to constantly keep working on it. And it is personal development, definitely is a strong position to be in. And so I know easily coming up with a defense. So I've got a 6-year-old daughter and a 9-year-old son. And so when they fight or something bad happens in the house, I'll say, Peyton, why is this like that? And she'll be like, well, because this and this and this happened. And I am training her as much as I can. Stop saying because of excuses. Take ownership. Acknowledge what has happened or what you've done and take ownership. Because that's where the strength is going to come, of course, when you can take that responsibility. Exactly. That's it. So how can you be a better and more coachable person? Being a better and more coachable person really just relates, again, first working on yourself, understanding that when you work really, really hard for your own personal success, you're not going to have the quicker, faster pace of success. When you can exemplify and lift other people and help them have greater success faster themselves, that's when then you naturally always have greater success. So focus on that is critical point number 1. And I know sometimes it's like, ugh, I just want to get the credit for all that I just did. I can't believe that person just got all the credit for something I've been doing right away. I know. But a real professional leader who sees the big picture just takes it and understands it's not about you. Oh well, because I'm sure you're going to get credit for something else later on. We'll get our applause. You'll get a award. It's just really about making sure that you go out and try to help more people achieve success. So working on your personal growth and development and just I think it's an active decision. If you know you struggle with being coachable, you just have to decide, I'm going to be coachable. I'm going to take criticism from other people. Now, of course, you have to see where the criticism is coming from. Of course, you want to take it from someone that you, of course, believe in, trust, and value their training and information. That's, of course, first. But when you're hearing something that's hard on your ears, pause and just sit there and think about it for a moment. And rather than come up with an excuse or a defense, just take it in and say, thank you. I didn't even think of it that way. So you really have to decide. So working on your personal growth and development, because your mind can't work until you really focus on that first. And then the second is make the decision to stop those antics. Stop it now. Girl, oh, you're totally going through this right now. Okay, perfect. This is good timing then. So you got to make that decision to be coachable. I, again, personally struggled with this a lot throughout my late 20s and my 30s, because I always wanted to be liked, and I wanted to always be seen as the it girl, the one that was making the difference. And it always sucked when someone else got a special opportunity, or why did they always get picked? It did suck. So you immediately then start hardening yourself up again and being more defensive and trying to be that selfish person out there a little bit more. But once you let that go, it's crazy how much the world opens up to you, because you come across differently. It's sometimes tough to humble yourself. I agree, Sybil. I completely agree. But that is my advice for tonight, is being coachable. I'm always working on it myself. I really feel I've come to a fantastic place with it myself, because in my eyes, as I said, don't stick a fork in me. I can always get better. And even though someone might be giving me a suggestion or a recommendation for something that I'm not so sure about, I never immediately react on it, and I want to process the information and dive and research it a little bit more. And then I may come back with more questions. But as long as you're accepting that there is a possibility for another way, then that's where you're going to have greater, faster success. There is a possibility for another way that may just be as amazing as the way that you think is amazing all by yourself. So focus first on that, and that's where you're going to really see a huge change. And so I have to control myself, because again, you can't change their perspective. I have to control myself, and first of all, stop emailing them, because your words on email or text will never come across right. They will never come across right. So stop doing that, first of all. So if you're coming up to someone who is not coachable, just stop communicating that to them by text, by your fingers, or of any sort. You need to either call them or send them a video, but it needs to come across in your vocal way, so they can hear the tonations of your voice, and how you really are trying to come across, and that you really are working to help them become successful. Why would you want someone to fail? Really? I just don't get that part. I don't think that someone would want someone to fail, especially when you keep in their corner and you keep giving them tools and assisting them. But then there's just these areas where they just fail to follow the details. It's about following through with details, and that can cause a huge challenge. So just maybe step back a little bit, and again, send something with your voice.